Hey everyone, welcome back to The Journey We Take. I am your host, Janelli, and today we are going to be digging into something that we all secretly wrestle with, whether we admit that or not. And it's that strange, shimmering idea of making it. You know, that invisible finish line everyone else on your feed seems to be sprinting across while you're just trying not to lose your sanity before 9 a.m. Yeah, that one. Because lately, personally, I've been having these little dramatic moments where I'm like, wow, look at me trying to build a podcast and a whole brand in the most overcrowded space known to humanity. You know, the internet, right? Like, who do I think I am? Beyonce? Like, I am definitely not the algorithm's chosen one or whatever. I'm definitely not. But I take a moment, I breathe, and I just have a moment to remember that, I'm moving in my own direction and with my own energy. And the people who are meant to vibe with me, they'll find me. My community will come together. It will all align as long as I'm staying true to myself and aligned with what feels right in my heart and in my spirit. So yeah, the space is surely saturated, but I'm still going to show up because my spirit said, this is you, babe, and I'm totally going to listen to it. So anyway, that's exactly why I wanted to talk about this today, because what we think of as success is often just the tiniest visible slice of a much bigger story. Beneath every shiny moment, there's unseen growth, those tiny wins, super messy beginnings, and some late nights that nobody claps for. And nobody really seems to talk about what we don't see because we don't see it. We don't see those late night doubts or those small wins that no one's there to witness, and those abandoned drafts, those quiet breakthroughs, and those moments we all have where we want to give up and quit, but we don't. So that's the stuff I want to explore today. It's just the raw, invisible progress, the one that doesn't ever really go viral, but it changes you anyway. And the kind that doesn't necessarily look like making it, but it actually is. So yeah, we're going to try and redefine what it means to make it and spend today honoring the kind of progress that happens quietly and with patience, those kinds of progressions that we don't really give ourselves credit for. Because I definitely feel like some days feel like less of a straight path and more of like, I don't know, like this sort of talent show that I didn't even put my name down to sign up for, but everyone else has like awesome dance routines and all this confidence and whatever, and I'm just like there trying to remember what I even signed up for, like what is my talent. And I'm just like with a coffee in my hand and existential dread and another, and I'm just like whoa. But anyway, yeah, it's just the glossy surface of an iceberg that you don't get to see underneath. And let's just honor the purpose that's quietly taking way in the midst of everything else. I get that the world is super loud about it, society just seems to have a narrow view of success, in my opinion, like fancy titles, these viral posts, big promotions, luxury vacations, and the number of followers you have, you name it. That's apparently what making it looks like these days, right? And it's like, I don't know, we've all silently agreed that unless your life resembles this perfect little Pinterest board, like, or a perfectly curated montage, like you must still be working on it, right? Just everywhere you look, someone's announcing a win and not only in social media, but in movies and pop culture. It's just like one giant highlight reel. And everyone else seems to be living like a 4K Ultra HD movie, and you're just like staring at your life like, oh my God, did my Wi-Fi just drop? Or am I like in slow motion or something? But I just think that's whenever it gets a little tricky, because when we compare our behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel, like I've mentioned in the past other episodes before when referencing this, we just seem to lose perspective and believe this false narrative that, everyone is sprinting ahead and we're just here feeling stuck. But in reality, we are moving quietly, but in those ways that no one sees. And, honestly, most people are just posting their best 5%, not the messy, unfiltered 95%, where that's where the courage and growth and real character comes about and happens. So the truth is, making it isn't a single moment. It's these it's the accumulation of 1,000 tiny unphotogenic moments, and it's just showing up on some days that you'd rather disappear and taking small, consistent actions, even when the results feel tiny and microscopic. Just trusting that something is happening beneath the surface, even whenever you can't see it or no one else can see it yet. Because those invisible efforts, the habits, the learning curves, the small risks you take, those decisions you make, that's where the real growth lives. Think of it like a compound interest for your soul. You water the plant every day, and then when it looks exactly the same as yesterday, you keep tending and you keep nurturing it, and you just believe. You keep believing in it. And then one day you look back and you realize, yo, I just grew some roots and branches. Like my work was not in vain. My nurturing was not in vain. But yeah, here's like a personal example, because I remember writing poems and journaling and sketching out all these different ideas for years, literally years, guys. And I never really showed anybody. I just, at the time, felt like nothing was happening. Like it was just me and my notebook that would never leave the drawer. But what I didn't realize was that all of that invisible work was just laying the foundation for something that I'm doing now, for this podcast and for my writing style and the collections that I've created and this whole brand as a whole. I just said whole like 2 times in less than like 0.5 seconds, but these are those quiet seasons that were not empty. They were honestly essential. So if you feel like you're doing a lot, but it doesn't look like much, if you feel like you're behind because you're not posting milestones every week, I promise you're not behind. You're building, and you are definitely becoming, as long as you keep tending to yourself, nurturing those aspirations that you have that fuel your soul, and follow your heart. I know that's such a cliche, but as long as you're working towards your dreams and towards what makes you happy, I never think that you will be led astray. I think that the universe is always working with you, and it's never conspiring against you. So next, I kind of wanted to talk about just like, how do we recognize progress when it doesn't really come with that applause or some sort of like neatly edited montage like in the movies? Well, I think that starts by shifting the scoreboard. and not the one that the world hands us. It's one that we have to create for ourselves. Instead of asking, did everyone see what I did? Try asking yourself, did this move me closer to who I want to become? And so that is internal alignment. And honestly, it's a way more accurate measure of growth. And here is kind of where the science gets a little poetic, which I love. But neuroplasticity, that's what it is. Your brain is constantly reshaping itself based on these tiny habits that you repeat. And every time you choose patience instead of panic, creativity instead of avoidance, courage instead of fear, your brain is like, oh, okay, we are doing that now. We're doing that now. Okay, bet. It strengthens these pathways in our minds, and it does that steadily, invisibly, but it is happening. So yeah, send that email, drink the water, write that one sentence that you've been procrastinating on, take the walk, do what you need to do, because your future self is literally being built in the background of all the actions that you take today. I like to imagine my neurons having like some sort of little EDM festival every time I do something healthy for myself, like, yeah, woohoo, little pushy growth DJs up here, hyping the crowd up. Yeah, get it. But it's funny because these tiny molecules and cells that make up our being are so complex, and we as humans are so complex, but I feel like at the core of everything, it's simple. Growth isn't just action based, it's emotional. And maybe you didn't react the way you used to. Maybe you caught yourself before spiraling, like getting to step outside of the situation and become the observer and see yourself outside of the frame, like referenced in the last episode. But yeah, maybe you forgave yourself faster this time. These are all wins. They're all soft, quiet wins, but honestly, they're the kind that change your life the most. And yeah, those sometimes are the biggest ways of process and or progress, that nobody claps for. So yeah, there's a radical idea I kind of want to drop in your mind today. It's like, what if making it isn't a destination, but just a state of alignment? Not the buzzy announcement, not the shiny moment that makes everyone go, oh my God, congratulations. Instead, it's just waking up and knowing that you are taking steps that feel true to your purpose, like I said before. And even if no one else gets it, you're still acting in a way that is in alignment with yourself. Yeah, so even if it's invisible or even if it's slow, you're still doing it. And so you ask yourself, what does success look like in my language? Because Instagram has its definition, right? Your childhood environment had its definition. Even the people you love have their own definitions, but yours is the one that actually matters. And so I wrote down a few reflection prompts that I thought were really great in order to find like an anchor. So it's just a few, but one of them is asking yourself and reflecting on, what small wins did I have this week that no one else noticed? And there are probably more than you think. Spoiler alert. Next is, what steps brought me closer to my goals, even if I can't see the results yet? And lastly, what habits am I building slowly, quietly, but consistently that my future self will thank me for? And whenever you sit with these reflective questions, something might click. You might just realize that you have been making progress and you've been building something real, even if it doesn't look glamorous yet. Because growth isn't this straight staircase that you climb gracefully. It's It's messy, it's wobbly, it's probably missing a few screws or something. It's yeah, it's not always graceful. Some days you trip over your own feet, and some days you just stand still because you're just tired, exhausted. And there will be days that you might leap forward. Every day is different, but all the movement counts, all the days count. And that's the secret, I think, is making it isn't about the moment that the world applauds you. It's just about the moments that you keep going whenever they're not. So, yeah, I think that there are different practical ways to celebrate your progress. And again, I already left you with a few of those reflective prompts or questions to go about, but I think that another simple way, just in general, is just to keep a progress journal. And yeah, do that. Even if it feels ridiculous, I'm serious. Like, write down the small stuff, not just the deep reflective notes, like I was referring to with those, but like, didn't procrastinate brushing my teeth. Growth? Possibly. I don't know. I know. It sounds goofy, but this is where the neuroplasticity comes into play, because your brain starts to thrive on this acknowledgement. And when you write it down, you are training your mind literally to recognize progress instead of dismissing it. So that one, keeping a progress journal, despite any kind of ridiculousness. Two, I think, is shifting your focus from the outcome to the progress or process. Instead of obsessing over that big final goal, that dream vision for yourself, or, writing that book or obtaining that business, did you start to pay attention to how you showed up? Like, did you show up today? Did you take one step? Did you learn something from a setback? That is progress. You're stacking bricks even when you think you're just pacing around the construction site. Three, I believe, is setting your own benchmarks. Seriously, just stop measuring your timeline against someone else's. Your growth has its own rhythm. Your slow might actually be you building depth. Your behind might be you building foundation. You're not there yet could just be you being exactly where you need to be. You're not supposed to match someone else's tempo, because, guys, this is your dance. This is your life. So just dance how you'd like. Dance like no one's watching you, because it doesn't really matter, does it? Yeah. So lastly is celebrating the boring wins. Not yelling at traffic. Clap for yourself. Made one good choice today instead of spiraling into chaos. That's a whole parade. Laughed at yourself mid-meltdown. Guys, that's emotional maturity with a side of self-awareness served to you right there on a platter. And these are wins that don't get posted, but they matter more than the flashy ones, honestly. Oh, actually, there's number 5 that I had here, which was using humor as fuel and not a distraction. So yeah, laugh at your mistakes, laugh at your weird quirks, laugh at the fact that you're a human trying to figure life out just like the rest of us. This isn't minimizing your struggles, it's just resilience. And it's definitely not emotional, or it actually is emotional cushioning. It's just your mind saying, yeah, this is messy, but we got this. Because at the end of the day, guys, celebrating progress doesn't require magical fireworks or a milestone moment. Just awareness. I feel like I've been talking about that a lot, and it's arising a lot in many of these episodes, but that is at the heart of many things in life. Just presence and a willingness to notice the small and glamorous truths of our becoming. Life isn't about reaching a single success finish line. Life is about the journey, the messy, invisible, everyday steps that build something that's lasting. Every book you write, every podcast you record, every small choice to show up, even when no one notices, is purpose in progress. And it's real, it's definitely meaningful, and eventually it shows up in ways that you couldn't have predicted. So if you're feeling like you're behind, or the next time you do feel stuck or invisible, just pause and look at your steps, because they all matter. And just remember that making it isn't a moment. It's a series of small moments that quietly stack up into something extraordinary. So yeah, this was an episode just reminding you guys to celebrate the small wins. And maybe it's also an episode that I'm speaking on, like this topic I'm speaking on is maybe a message for myself. I can sometimes take my own advice, but we're all human here. We're all learning throughout this journey, and that's the whole point of this podcast. So yeah, celebrate the small wins, laugh at your mess ups, notice your growth, even whenever no one else does, because you are doing the work and you are making progress. Progress is an invisible thing, and it's imperfect and most of the time messy, but that's beautiful, guys. And sometimes that's exactly what making it looks like. And yeah, if today's episode hit home at all, I've been writing more about these kind of topics over on the blog, thejourneywetake.com. The deeper stuff that doesn't always make it into the audio, even though we do dive in pretty deep here. But you'll find the link most of the time in the show notes. So whenever you want to sit with these kinds of ideas a little longer, it's always there for you. If you guys like to read more reflective things at night or in the morning or whenever you have time, it's there for you for those moments as well. And if you want to keep up with new episodes, behind the scenes thoughts, random life moments, or a lot of the things I've been posting lately are about the meanings behind some of the designs that I've created on the website between the Cosmic Collection and the Earthbound Collection. So yeah, come hang out with me on social media. You can find me at The Journey We Take podcast on Instagram. If you look up The Journey We Take on Facebook, I'm there. If you just go on the website, thejourneywetake.com, you can find all of those links. So there you have that. I just love to connect with you all, truly. That's the whole point of this. And if The Journey We Take has ever made you feel seen, or it's inspired you or made you feel more grounded, the merch on the site is just an extension of that. So check it out. Yeah, and like I said, each piece ties back to something that we've talked about here or something that I've written in some of my work. So yeah, little reminders that you can actually carry with you or wear. But no pressure, no push, just something that I put a lot of heart into and thought you guys would like to hear about. So thank you for being here, for listening, for continuing to grow with me, even through all these messy in-between seasons of life. It means more than you guys will ever know, honestly. So until next time, keep taking those small steps, keep showing up for yourself, and just keep moving forward. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.